we're back to scripted videos with Bedwars in the background. Anyway, hello everyone. Well, welcome back to my channel. I'm Apple. So in this video, I wanted to talk about the various interests I have. Like, for example, weirdcore, dark academia, analog horror, Undertale, and more. I feel like the aesthetics part goes a lot farther than the actual fandoms I've been in. Like, after all the fandoms I've been in for a long time, so there's not many fandoms I can say I have been in. But, moving on, we're gonna begin with my love for weirdcore. Weirdcore, as stated by the Aesthetics Fandom Wiki, is a surrealist aesthetic centered around amateur or low-quality photography and/or visual images that have been constructed or edited to convey feelings of confusion, disorientation, dread, alienation, and nostalgia or anemoia. And I quite like the surreal nature of it. Even though I think it kind of worsens my own personal view on reality as a whole, but it's fine, I'll be fine, probably. Anyway, here are some images that convey the aesthetic pretty well in my opinion. There are also other aesthetics that seem similar to weirdcore and are often mixed up for weirdcore, like dreamcore and surrealism as a style, which both aesthetics are actually based on. I often see people saying on the internet how much they miss the old weirdcore, even though the old weirdcore they miss is actually the style of photo-surrealism, which I hope the editor, which is me, shows a few images of this style. Some of these images do, at times, feel like weirdcore, but they aren't. People usually rag on weirdcore, making fun of people who, like, they draw mushrooms with eyes, and they say it's weirdcore. People like that, they rag on it, and they say it's cringe and other shit. But, in my opinion, I don't really think them ragging on it is that funny, nor do I think it's really true, because the whole point of weirdcore is that it's weird and surreal. You know, mushrooms with eyes, in my opinion, perfectly fit the weird and surreal theme pretty well. But you guys can give me your own opinions in the comments. As stated from Wikipedia, dark academia is an internet aesthetic and subculture concerned with higher education, the arts, and literature, or an idealized version thereof. The aesthetic centers on traditional educational clothing, interior design, activities such as writing, poetry, ancient art, classic literature, as well as classical Greek and collegiate, I don't know how to say this, Gothic architecture. The trend emerged on social media site Tumblr in 2015 before being popularized by adolescents and young adults in the late 2010s and early 2020s, particularly during the COVID-19 pandemic. Which, crazy to say, that was 3 years ago, maybe. And it's more centered on fashion and decor. For instance, wearing long coats and fancy, frilly, and sometimes fantasy-like button-down shirts. Or for decor, bookcases, bookshelves, autumn leaves, and parts of Greek architecture, like pillars and Greek busts. Fashion for the 1930s and 40s is also a pretty popular part of the aesthetic, which some criticisms of the aesthetic are that they romanticize or glamorize overworking yourself and burnout. But in defense of the aesthetic, it never does such thing. I'd say it actually romanticizes relaxing and not working, like relaxing with a hot cup of coffee and a book. Reading is a pretty big part of this aesthetic. And some people see it as pretentious, and I can't really say anything about that, because it kind of is, like, just a tiny little bit, you know? Another criticism is that there aren't many people of color, but I'd also say that's not true. Anyone who says that just really isn't looking for it, you know? They're not looking for it, or really just have no experience looking into, like, this side of aesthetic on the internet. You know, because people who will say that haven't truly looked for it. You'll find it. It's not that hard to find. These people just haven't really put in the work to find it. there's some pretty big like TikTok accounts of people of color, people who are people of color, who do make dark academia content, and I'd say that they kind of slay. So, okay, now time for analog horror. Analog horror is a subculture of the horror fiction genre and an offshoot of the found footage style of horror movies. It sort of copies the style of old analog technology, and yeah, that part, I just wanted to make a parody of the style, but I think the style is kind of cool. I can see why people make fun of it, though, because the style can seem a bit, like, overdone with how many people are making, you know, like, something files, something archives, you know. It's kind of easy to make something seem like the style. It seems like that, though, because there are some pretty good ones, and the ones that aren't that good, they just don't get popular, you know? Now, I don't think there's much I can say for Undertale, though. Undertale is a 2015 2D role-playing game that was created by the game developer Toby Fox, and was pretty much made by two people, Toby Fox and Timmy Chang, who actually was the artist who helped Toby with the character sprites. She even has her own character, so that's pretty cool. After it released, it got super popular, and the rest is history. I was in the fandom for a few years, and it's actually kind of where Apple originates, but I'll tell that story on a different day. Now, sadly, this video must end here, because, you know, couldn't really think of much. But if you all want to see more, give me some suggestions of things to talk about. It's been a while since I made scripted videos like this, and they're kind of fun. Though, in honesty, the only reason I started making scripted videos was because I couldn't figure out the Xbox capture system I was using, and the Xbox capture system doesn't have anything which supports audio. So even if I had a good mic, I couldn't add any filters on it like OBS's audio suppression and noise compression. And also because it's kind of easy when you think of it. You can just record something, you don't have to talk, you don't have to make anything up on the spot. You can just record, then type something up for you to talk about, and then just record yourself talking about it, like I am now. But if you want me to talk about some more things, like in the future, maybe a video on how Apple originated, then, you know, tell me. I'll have a lot of fun. But like the video if you liked it, and, you know, if you didn't like the video, but you want me to make more, comment and subscribe so that you can be notified when I make another video. It would be helpful for this channel to grow if you were subscribed, and any help is appreciated. Bye!